Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.
Hey guys, Andy again. Not the TV guide. Amanda, what episode is it again?
12.
Amanda Nicholson, Beth McMillan, and I have no idea where Grant Curno's gone.
He's
I'm
hiding.
here.
We thought
Sorry.
Mr. Bruce had killed
Just talk to E.T.
Oh yeah, now people wondering he's got his ET puppet with him today. Now he's just traumatized me in a minute because he's about to put something up on YouTube and TikTok, man. Tell people what you're doing, Grant, before we go to the next TV program.
Well, E.T.'s been doing a lot of like films recently. He's done his version of Fast and the Furious. He's done Wicked recently, the musical, and yeah, he was playing Elspeth, and now he's about to do the Full Monty, and he's also going to do You Can Leave Your Hat On, and he's going to do that with my toy version of Moomin Papa. So yeah, sorry, yeah.
Oh, good God, Grant. I don't know where to answer that. Manson, what do you want to say? Just save me making a fool of myself.
No, I look forward to watching it.
Has he converted you as well, Beth, has he?
This honestly sounds like the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
Right, well, we better get on to TV programs. Real TV programs, that is. Now, you can guarantee, if you're not careful, you will end up in like a spin-off of E.T. meets the Full Monty if we're not careful here, right? So, an interesting film anyway. So, right, let's move on, guys. Okay, then. Next one we're going to do is what is more for Amanda and me, but Amanda and me have both watched. What have we watched recently, Amanda?
Dexter.
Yes, Dexter Original Sin. And now, I've just realised here, I've not made any notes whatsoever on this. So, Amanda, over to you. Sorry.
It's basically set when Dexter was younger before the original series. So they've cast like younger actors to play the parts of the people that were in the original series, and they've done a really good job of it. You can tell who's meant to be who.
Now, there is a crossover today. We talked about Buffy the Vampire Slayer at the start of the episode with Sarah Michelle Gellar's program. She's in it, in a guest role. And I was sat there. How old is Sarah Michelle Gellar, Amanda, do you reckon?
I think she's a little bit older than me, but not by about a year or two.
Let's find out for you, okay? I'm nosy. She's 47. Now, I've got to tell Beth and Grant, we watch this. I've got faults on the program, but she looked incredible. Absolutely looked incredible, and she did. That's why. So, and also Christian Slater's got a major role in the program as well. He was brilliant. He was, and I don't know how old he is now. What's how old Christian Slater is? He's got to be what? Let's see, what's your record? How old Christian Slater is, and I'll tell you.
70.
Love you. Love you.
In his late 50s, possibly early 60s.
What do you reckon, Beth?
Oh, I don't know. I'll go in the middle. I'll go like 60 then.
55.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I used to have a massive crush on him when I was younger.
It was Will Scarlet. Do you remember Prince of Thieves?
I think I blocked that out of my mind.
Oh, mega film.
Right, obviously, back to Dexter Original Sin. I'm trying to think who played Dexter in this, Amanda? It was.
Oh, I do have it down somewhere as well. Patrick Gibson.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, and I can't help you, Dexter. I've watched. Was it Dexter? The last Dexter series before this? They come back and they killed. Well, we thought killed him off, and they haven't done now. But then I've seen that and I've seen this, so it's one of those ones where Beth and Grant, have you two seen Dexter? Have you on any level? Yeah, it kind of lost.
I've never seen it. No,
it lost me a lot in places, but I could see from when Amanda was well into it. She was, and I think you liked a lot of the Easter eggs in it, didn't you? Really, so
yeah, like they had the same opening sort of scene, but with the other characters reenacting it. And it just felt really good, like with the characters and stuff, like they've cast them, and you could tell like which ones were meant to be certain people, and there's I've forgotten the name of the guy that he works with, who's also like a forensic sex, and he got it exactly right.
I think sometimes it goes that way, doesn't it, with some programs like that? I think, I'm sure we all can name what spin-offs of other TV programs we've done as prequels. And I know you've watched one, Beth, and I can't think of the name of it now. You hated it as well. Um, was it Vampire Diaries spin-off you didn't like?
No, I've watched the originals, but I
Yeah.
quite liked it. I did quite enjoy it.
No, it was a spin-off, wasn't that you, Dad? You were keen on watching,
Oh,
wasn't it?
Legacies.
That
Yeah,
was it, yeah.
I started watching
Uh,
Legacies, which is like a spin-off of the originals, kind of, and that wasn't as good, no.
Yeah, but I think in this case, the original sin, I know Amanda seemed to really like this. And I think what you liked about Amanda was what I could make out was Patrick Gibson. So I think you thought he had him down, Dexter down to a T, didn't you, really?
Yeah, you could tell that he's obviously talked to the guy that played Dexter originally, and that he's watched it, and he's got all the mannerisms and everything, and right down to like the evil little smirk when he's thinking about killing people.
Again. See, Beth noticed now, Amanda's going on about more men getting killed. Right, this time
yeah,
men are doing the
No,
killing.
he's not prejudiced. He kills men and women. He doesn't he doesn't judge.
Don't we all like a bit of murder and bloodshed?
yeah,
Says it all, done.
exterminated.
Yeah, definitely that. Now, obviously, Amanda, what was your favourite bits of this series, seriously?
Hmm. I'm not sure really. I think I liked it at the beginning when he first. It was a nurse, which I'm not going to go into too much in case people haven't watched it yet. And it's just like it was back in the game then, even though it was his first kill technically.
Yeah, was there anything that dragged a bit in this series for you, Amanda?
No, I know you were disappointed because you thought Sarah Michelle Gellar was going to do something like
I
start
thought,
killing
yeah,
Mm.
trouble was she did another series last year, didn't she, about werewolves, and I forgot the name of it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Wolf Pack. Yeah.
What Wolf Pack or Wolf Pack? You say then?
Wolf Pack. It's a new wolf. It's just part of
Wolf Pack. But I know you told me she was the baddie in that, and I thought to myself,
Right.
if you're gonna cast Sarah Michelle Gellar in something, sure to goodness, what you can either doing something, either dying really horribly, spectacularly, or killing people or something. She didn't do either.
No, but she inspired Deb to go to the police academy and train to be a police to join the police force.
Now, a question I've got to ask you, so I don't want to go too much Dexter mythology with this, but it's been wrote in the net anyway, was people noticed with it. Obviously, back in the first season of Dexter, all those many years ago, it was Dexter's brother comes into it, and he kind of appears here, doesn't he, Amanda, as well?
Yeah, but Dexter doesn't get to see him because in the original show, he doesn't. That's the first time he's seen him, so they keep him away from Dexter.
So, is the legs for this for a second series, do you think? Honestly.
I think so. I don't know exactly when Dexter's dad's supposed to die, but I think they've got time in the timeline to have a second season.
We'll see then, so. Grant and Beth, have you two got anything you want to ask Amanda about? Yeah, say for example, what's your favourite death scene in this series?
What's your favourite death scene in this series?
I think there was one actually. Well, there was a couple that went wrong, weren't there? But one was sort of set up. But the first one that went wrong was actually a mistake, and he'd made a mistake, and he ran away. And in the
Oh,
end, the guy died, and he didn't even get to kill him because he got hit by a big truck.
oh,
Oh, it's incredible, honestly, right? So, like I said, but yeah. So, Amanda, there's not much anything I can really ask you here. So, what are you going to give this out of 10?
I'm giving this 9.5.
That's
oh,
it lost me a lot in
very high.
places. I'm going to say an 8. Fair enough. I thought Christian Slater was exceptional, and it really, really was good in this. He was best I've seen him in quite some time. So it's one give me of an 8, definitely. So right, okay then. I've forgotten whose next program this was. Traitors. Was this you, Grant?
That is I. Yes, I am the lover of the traitors.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never watched this. I don't know what this is about. So, Beth, have you watched Traitors?
Yeah, I've not watched the most recent series,
Oh, so
unfortunately.
you have watched it.
I have watched the first two series. It is
Right.
very
Oh,
good.
brilliant.
Right,
Oh,
Beth. Well,
brilliant.
tell
Yeah.
you what, Beth, we'll let you interview Grant then about this. I don't know what Traitors is about. I'm hopeless.
Yeah. So
Grant,
I've never
what is
gone.
Traitors about?
Well, Traitors is about basically it's a game show where you have well they're called faithfuls. So you get like 24 people turn up at random, not random. So basically like a giant Scottish castle, and they have Claudia Wilkham as the host. And when they put blindfolds on in the middle of the night, she picks three random people. Or all their, well, she thinks will be the best person to be a traitor, and then the game is you have to guess who the three traitors is and banish them. If not, they murder every night, and then by the end, they have a chance to win all the money at the end. So they do a certain task during the day. So what's so great about it? It's a bit like The Apprentice meets Big Brother, but with like murder and campness, and
Kind of
it's
like a
all.
giant game of Wink Murder.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. So it's got a murder mystery vibe to it as well. So yeah. So what I really like about it, because basically, like, you have like the event during the day where they try and win money. So it's a bit like the task you have in The Apprentice, and then the round table is like the boardroom. They have to try and like someone gets banished from it or fired, and then there's a sinister element to it where someone gets killed in the middle of the night. The traitors meet up and talk about it in their tower upstairs, and then you get the breakfast in the morning, and when you get to see people who go, oh, I wonder if they get through the door alive. They don't know who's going to turn up alive. So it's a bit like at the end of The Apprentice, where when they go back to the house and they're waiting for the people to come back in. So I quite like that, where they're just. But then it's different. It's they're actually getting murdered. They're never coming back. So yeah, so it's just really really good fun. I just love it. I think like I love the campness of it, like the dressing up in the middle of the night, with candlelight, murder, picking people to be murdered, the scheming, the lying to people. It's just so much fun. I just got so obsessed with it. I've watched all three series in about since I started watching was about middle of January. I've watched all three series, and I've watched the American series three that's just come online. So, and that
Wow.
is fantastic. The American, so much more over the top with it. And when they get banished, they do the finger to people and go, "You sold me out, bro." That's what they say. But they're all like reality stars in America, so they're all like these housewives programs, so they're all like really rich and entitled. And they have like one of them was a drag queen as well. He was just hilarious. He was just so funny on it. He was like, "Bitch, you're lying." Like going around the table. Yeah.
Oh, good. Amanda, is there anything you want to ask him, Grant, about this?
No, I think he's explained it now.
Yeah. A question is, Amanda, does it feel like Dexter fronting The Apprentice to you?
Yeah.
Not quite, because there's no actual murders, but I suppose that'd be illegal.
Yeah.
Could be fun that Dexter fronting The Apprentice. I can see that definitely. Anyway, so
Yeah.
Beth, is there anything else you want to ask Grant? I don't know where to begin with this.
What have the the challenges been like this series? Because I like that was the part of the show that I was kind of less keen on really because
Oh yeah.
I kind of almost wanted it to be like much more like a Big Brother type thing where they don't even leave the house and they're just kind of like
Oh yeah.
sat there
We
having to
talk about
like
it all the time. Yeah.
interrogate each other and talk to each other about it all the time. But they do these like challenges, don't they, where they like go out of the house and it's a bit like I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. They like do these
Yeah.
kind of not quite as like brutal as that, but
Mhm.
like they kind of do these challenges in order to win money for like the prize fund, and whoever wins at the end takes
Mhm.
home all of the money. Like if a faithful wins, the faithfuls take home the money. If a traitor wins, the traitors take home the money. So yeah, they do these challenges, and that was always the part that I wasn't as keen on. So what challenge has been like this time around?
Yeah, I've been a bit. I quite enjoy the challenges. So there's one where they have to make a giant ring of fire, and they're on the boat, but you have to leave someone on the raft to get the fuel for the fire. So it's just watching people like who don't want to give up, a chance to win the money in the Shield. So they're all arguing on the raft, and then once they're on the raft, they're all slagging him off, going, "He's a traitor" and all that. So that was quite a fun one. And then there was another one where they had to they went to a house full of like dolls. Old, it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a uncanny one. It was a spooky one. They had all these kind of weird dolls that you pick on and go, "I'm going to kill you" and all that. But they were singing nursery rhymes in reverse. So what you had to do was you had to listen to it, and then you had to ring up the phone back at the castle, and you had to like had to play it through a recorder that played it forwards. So you had to sing what the dolls said, and then they would. But then one of them was like going. One of them, one of the cast members this year had an operatic background, so he was singing operatically, he was going like "Spurger, like that kind of thing. It was meant to be like Three Men Row a Boat or whatever, and he played it back or whatever. And then Claudia was just pissing herself laughing when he was watching it. So that was a really fun one. That was probably one of the more memorable ones. And there was one that had to do a chess game. He had to then it was so big what people said about them. Who was like the weakest contestants, so that was a cool one. And then that was quite revealing, that one, so that was quite a fun one. But yeah, one of the tasks at the end that they had to like dangle from a helicopter, and that was just, I couldn't undo that. I was just like, hate heights. That was quite scary, but yeah, it was a really, really good series. I think you'll love it. So there's got some good twists in it as well. I won't tell you about it, but like they do some things I've never done before in the previous two series.
Okay.
Good to me then. Okay, Grant, what are you going to give this out of 10?
Oh, it's so.
Hang on. Could this be 5 or 6?
The Apprentice is the GOAT to me of all reality shows. So this is like the best reality show I've seen since The Apprentice. So I'm giving it a 9.5.
Ooh. Okay. Well, now Grant's made it so sickly sweet. I think it kind of makes Centra's next to go proper sweet, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So let's now talk about Sweet Tooth Season 3. Now, people are wondering, this program has been reviewed in this podcast before. Ooh, was it last year, Amanda, we reviewed this?
Yeah, was this the last season?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, the last ever one. Yeah.
Yeah, the last ever one. So now, obviously, this is Beth baby now with this one. So I want to know, first of all, Beth, I presume you've seen seasons 1 and 2 then, haven't you, then, before we start?
Yeah.
Have you read the comic it was based on?
No, I haven't, but I want to actually, because I heard it's based on a comic, and I googled it and saw some pictures of the original comic strip. It looked really good. So
yeah, it's done by a really good Canadian writer called Jeff Lemire, and I've got a good few of his books knocking on. Not Sweet Tooth, but a few of his others, and he's one of the best writers going. He's really, really good at writing children. That's why. So that's why I think it's this. Well, I've got things I could say about it, but I want to hear what you've got to say about this. So I presume then you really enjoyed seasons 1 and 2, did you?
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah.
So,
How did season 3 compare to season 1 and 2 for you?
I actually really enjoyed series 3 because I felt like things were moving a little bit quicker. I kind of felt like it was moving more towards a resolution, whereas there were parts of particularly the second series that I felt were a little bit slow, or there were a couple of episodes where not much happened to progress the plot, and it was kind of quite samey in the first and second series. Not that I didn't enjoy it because I thought it was really good, but I thought the third series was really nice because it kind of picked up the pace a little and obviously wrapped everything up. And everything kind of started to make sense because it sort of drew it to a conclusion because it's the final series.
Yeah, it did. I full well remember giving a pretty satisfying conclusion. If I'm honest at the time, and Amanda, I think Amanda agrees with me this, it's one of those ones that did seem to take a bit of time to get going for me, really, this did.
Yeah.
At the time, I loved the second half of the series. I thought it was really got a really strong ending on it. So, but Amanda, is there anything you want to ask Beth about this?
No, it's still a bit hazy, but I just remember that Bobby wasn't in it as much as I wanted him to be.
Oh yeah. Oh, you missed all
I
that.
love Bobby.
You missed all that, Beth. We were introducing Grant to Bobby. We were Bobby was a beaver. Was he a beaver? Wasn't he? I seem to recall.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why we kept sending Amanda, taking Grant pictures of Bobby the Beaver, and he never watched it. We tried to get him to go and watch it for the cute Bobby the Beaver. And did you watch it, Grant?
No, I was too busy with ET. Sorry. I wasn't watching.
No, obviously, Beth, what you told us obviously what you liked about the series. Was there anything you didn't really like about this third series?
I I thought the villain was maybe a little bit kind of over the top. I've forgotten her name now, but the main kind of villain woman who is basically so basically, I mean, I don't know if people will actually know what the show is about. So it's essentially just sort of a post-apocalyptic world where there's been a virus that's kind of appeared out of nowhere called the sick that's killing people, and then around the same time as that appears, babies start randomly being born as kind of animal human hybrids. So there's no more kind of normal human babies being born. Instead, everyone starts giving birth to babies that have like some animal features. And they're called hybrids, and they kind of start appearing at the same time as the sick. So people kind of blame them for the sick and start, persecuting them and hunting them. And it's basically the story is following a hybrid called Gus, who is part deer, and it's basically just following his story, trying to because he's the original hybrid, so he's like the one that started it all. So he's the key to what's going on and to curing the sick. So it's like everyone's after him basically, and it's kind of following his story of trying to solve everything and make the world better basically. But yeah, the villain, I think, in this series, because the first two series kind of had one villain, and then there was another villain introduced in series two that's kind of taken over this for this series. And I felt she was a little bit like Cruella de Vil, like she was a
Oh,
little bit over the
Mrs. Zhang,
top.
yeah, I remember what her
Yeah,
name was. Yeah, Mrs. Zhang, yeah,
that's her
she
name,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, I know what you
Because
mean now.
she's got hybrid grandchildren who are part wolf. They're part wolf, so she kind of treats them like a pack of wolves and like sets them on people and stuff. And it felt a little bit kind of over the top. I mean, I did like her, but I felt she was a little bit cartoony at times. So if I had to say something I didn't like, it would probably be that. But I thought it was a very solid series overall. It sounds like a really weird concept when you explain it, but it's actually a really good show.
Yeah, no, but I did enjoy it, I must admit. Now, obviously, I don't want to give too many spoilers away. Well, in fact, we could, oh, some sort of blast in the background here. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I was going to say to them was, I have to ask you, Beth, then about the conclusion, without giving too much away. It was a very sad conclusion, actually, that was to me, but I did enjoy it. What did you
It was,
think?
yeah, I thought it was a satisfying ending. Um, and kind of a happy ending in the grand scheme of things when you think about it, because I don't think they're really I'm trying I don't know what to say without giving too much away, but it's kind of I think it was sort of the ending that I was expecting. I was kind of expecting things to end more or less the way they did, not
Yeah.
in terms of like the actual answer to the question of, how has the sick and the hybrids, been created. I don't think anyone could necessarily have predicted what the backstory was going to be for that, because that was quite an interesting backstory. But in terms of how all of the characters ended up and kind of the ending, I think it was more or less what I predicted, and it was quite a nice ending, I think.
Yeah, and give it a satisfying conclusion because I know at one point they weren't sure they were going to get a third season on it. I know Netflix, I think it was Netflix it was on. They came close to
Yeah.
cancelling it after 2 seasons. I know they did, so no, I agree with you on that. So, right, let's give us a marking. What you going to give this out of 10, Beth?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I did really enjoy it. It was kind of my comfort show while I was watching it.
What sort of marks?
Nice.
Obviously, because you weren't around in the podcast when I think me and Man did 1 and 2 on here. What did you give seasons one and what would you give in seasons 1 or 2 generally then?
I'd have given them a tiny bit lower. I would say maybe like 8 for 1 and 2. Maybe 7.5
Yeah.
series 2. I think series 2 was my least favorite. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that's
really
fair point.
enjoyed series 3.
Yeah, sometimes you get that. I mean, Man. I know Man was really upset. Bobby wasn't in it very much. I do remember her saying that to me. But yeah, and I do agree with you in that. So yeah, it was not. It was a bit slow for me in the Man, but I know we're glad we stuck with it anyway. Certainly, because these to give it a conclusion anyway straight away. Okay, now next one we're going to do is what I've watched this month, and unless someone wants to come in with a quick question or two, I'm just going to read out very briefly what I've seen about this film. I watched it over the last 2, 3 nights, and I'm still a bit bamboozled by it now. So yeah, yeah, it's called Bird. It's the new film by Andrea Arnold. And I wanted to watch it because Burial did the soundtrack to it, and I love Burial's music. Amanda hates me playing Burial. She don't like it at all. She thinks it's weird, right? But this is the film itself is Bailey is a 12-year-old girl who lives on a rundown building estate with her father Bug and half-brother Hunter. One day, Bug announces his engagement to Kaylee, a woman he was known for 3 months, with their wedding the following Saturday. Bailey, in shock and frustration, claims she will not attend and storms off. Later that day, Hunter tells Bailey he is in a vigilante group with his friends. Intrigued, she follows him and witnesses the group of boys storm into a house and threaten a man with a box cutter, which she do. It's pretty horrible, that scene. Police are quickly called and Bailey escapes an empty field where she falls asleep for the night. The next morning, she is greeted by a mysterious man who calls himself Bird. Now, I'm still trying to get my head around this film because it started off very what's the film? It's very like Kes. Have you ever seen a Kestrel for a Kestrel for a Kes? And it was very like that, but done in a much more surreal way. And it was one of those ones that seemed to go put everything in the kitchen sink. And I'm still not sure if everything worked on it. And it turned into a horror film in the last 5 minutes with
Oh
Bird
right, God.
turning into this massive bird. Oh, the bug here, and it basically killing a stepdad. And I'm still not sure whether that was part of the film or just some surreal fever dream. But yeah, but I said it, but it is one of those ones. It's one to watch over 2, 3 nights. I couldn't have watched that in cinema over 2 hours. It'd have been too much. It was
Really? Yeah.
just my head was like that last night after I finished watching it. So it gets an 8 out of 10 for me. But Burial soundtrack is 10. So that's all I've got to say
Oh,
about
cool.
Bird, right? So right, Amanda, to wrap up part 2. You're going to take us
Yep.
into another area altogether, aren't you? Because, Beth, you wouldn't know this. Amanda likes doing rewatches. And pretty well for the first year of this podcast, you put Grant through every season of Buffy and every season of Angel, and he loved it, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
I
he
love hearing
secretly went
about
out and watched Buffy. He loves it.
it.
Now, what have you started to rewatch on, Amanda?
Buffy.
I started rewatching season 1 of Ghost Whisperer.
Now,
All right, what's that? I heard of that.
same here.
It's Jennifer Love Hewitt, and she can see dead people, and they come
Oh,
to her like pass messages on to like family and friends that they've left behind, and then she crosses them over into the light.
Now, it's a few years old, this program, Amanda, isn't it, if my memory's correct?
I think it started, was it 2000 to 2005 or something like that?
Let's have a quick look. It's only something I've only very, very vaguely heard of myself. So let's have a look. When it first came out, yeah, 2005 to 2010.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah.
And it says here, so I'm going to read Wikipedia now because I said I don't know this series at all. Yeah, the series follows the life of Melinda Gordon, played by Jennifer Love Hewitt, who has the abilities to communicate with ghosts. While trying to live as normal life as possible, she is married and owns an antique store. Melinda helps earthbound spirits resolve their problems and cross over into the light or the spirit world. And her tasks are made difficult at times with struggles with people who push her away and do not believe her gift. In addition, the ghosts are mysterious and sometimes menacing at first. I'm not going to read any more. It goes on now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Beth, is there anything you want to ask Amanda about this, journalist that you are?
It sounds really interesting, actually, because I love anything to do with ghosts. Like one of my favourite films is Ghost with Patrick Swayze
Oh,
and Goldberg.
I saw
One
that
of
in
my
cinema. That.
probably my favourite film of all time. And then one of my favourite series of all time is BBC Ghosts, which is like a
Oh, okay,
similar concept. And I love the kind of humour that comes from like people being able to talk to ghosts when it's done like in a sort of more of a light-hearted way. So is this
yeah.
is this a bit of a darker series, or has it got kind of that
There's
comedic element to it?
bits of light-hearted stuff, but then like there's darker bits, and there's
Yeah.
always like something dark lurking in the shadows.
Hang
Oh,
on, Amanda, what is it? It lurked in the shadows, did
Yeah.
it?
But she's a nicer person than I am, I think, because it's like when she goes to help people, and I can understand like they wouldn't believe her and they think that she's trying to scam them or whatever. But the things that they say to her, and they're just so nasty, and they tell her to go away and shout at her and stuff. It's like I'd just pretend just to say, all right, I'm not helping you, get lost.
yeah.
So, but then when they finally come to her and go, oh, I'm actually, can we speak to that dead relative we've lost? And she like helps them. I just tell them to get stuffed after the way to talk to them.
Yeah, but Amanda, you tell me you're not a people person, don't you? So you hate everybody, don't you? So
Not when strangers are shouting at me and saying, "Go away, leave us alone."
Oh,
yeah, no, seriously, I get it completely, Amanda. So now, obviously, I don't want to go to too much spoilers. I think, knowing you, you're going to want to review every episode of the next five, all five seasons, aren't you? Probably, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I've got Disney for another 2 months at 1.99 a month. So after that, I'll probably wait until I get another deal and then carry on watching it and
That's
just see
fair.
how much I get for you.
Well, okay then. Tell us about season one then. Obviously, these sort of things normally are set in the scene, aren't they? Normally, these longer running series like this. So, how did the first season go for you then? Did it? 'Cause you've not seen it for a while, I presume, have you?
No, I think I only watched them once originally, and that was when it came out. So it's
mm.
been a long time. It didn't feel like it had aged that badly.
I suppose considering it's over 20 years old as well now, isn't it? So that's fair enough. And so, what's your strengths about this series then?
Yeah, I think this was probably one of the better seasons because I do know later on it gets a bit silly. I'm not gonna tell people what happens, but I think it just got a bit too complex. And I liked it when it was just like a different ghost that she had to help each week.
Oh,
And they tried to make it into a sort of bigger storyline with all these other stuff going on in the background.
Okay, sell it to Beth then in a couple of sentences in with Beth into Ghost then. No, change of line. No, sell it to Grant first of all then, right?
Jennifer Love
I mean, that's
Hewitt.
Mission
Oh,
Impossible.
is that fair enough? Is it Jennifer Love Hewitt? Sell that to Grant then, right? Now sell it to Beth then.
Yeah,
Go on then.
I've really
ghost.
forgotten about her, to be honest. Would
Go on.
E.T. like it?
Oh, he'd love it, yeah.
Right. Sell it to Beth then, Amanda. Seriously, go on then.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Ghosts.
Ghost. Oh, yeah, sorry. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. You were winding Grant up then. I was giggling and forgot Jennifer Love Hewitt and Grant. Yeah, so that's how I got put off then. Right. I'm seriously, obviously, was there anything that you didn't really like about this first series? Anything that really jarred about it for you?
Yeah, there's like a bad guy and he's like doing something with the stalls, and I didn't really like that because I just like the sort of rest of it and the more light-hearted thing of it. And that sort of led in a direction. And I remember I didn't like that so much in later seasons when it starts expanding on things like that.
Yeah, no, I get you with it straight away. It's something, yeah, no, I do get you with that. So, right, is there anything else you want to say about this, Amanda, before we wrap up part two?
Yeah, I don't remember it with the original time. I don't remember it making me want to bawl my eyes out as much.
Did
I
it?
don't know if
Oh,
Oh,
that's just because I don't know if that's just because it's like I'm a different stage of my life and
did
it
Angel
just
Series
like
4 make you cry, though?
not in
It
the
was so
same
horrible.
way. That was like because it should never be made.
I will say to you, Grant, is remember, Beth's not seen Angel yet. Spoilers.
Oh, good.
That's all I'm
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching all of I am gonna be watching all of Buffy and probably Angel, so
Yeah, spoilers. So careful, I'll say to you there. So, right, Amanda, seriously, that been the case, and if you've nothing else to add about it, do you want to
No.
give us your marking then?
I'd give it 8.5.
8.5. Recommendation. But you know something tonight, people? We've actually not really been really negative about anything, have we? Yet.
Apart from Spider-Man.
Oh, well, listen, I just
Yeah.
declined to
Which I
vow
liked.
that, so you liked it, somebody liked it. So, right, folks,
Yeah.
yeah, well, we'll wrap up part 2 here because we've got another 2 programs to discuss here. I think Beth might have made it 3 now. So then we're going to talk about what we're watching beyond this program. And so we will see you all. 2 shakes of the dice.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.